Okay, so I'm actually going through Grimm's here, Grammar Heroes cemetery build he's got built, and I do have some differentials. Because remember when I was actually taking this, there are still some things that confuse you if you do not understand this Putnam's competition, to the Bell's equality, to the negative 273 Kelvin temperatures, into the wave function operator, that I would use something like this hot off the cop in terms of the design, real tight to scale. Figuring this out, going through it, sorting algorithm to figure out what I like for the rows and columns inside here. Now this is a pretty simple equation while we're letting him talk it out, but he'll do something immediately off the hop that drives me crazy with mathematics all the time, and I bet you as a kid you got fucked up about this a bunch of times, which is my first right hand left hand experiment. This is my right. I know it forever now. And that kind of conceptual model, while what the Putnam is about, at least from the base system, so that every positive integer, u, a sum of one more number of the form 2r, 3s, where r and s are the non-negative integers, and no sum divides another. So when I put one of the other, don't divide up the pie chart any differently. We don't have two different worker friction fields about what this is. Now you're going to ask yourself, well, how can that be so complicated right here off the hop? And we're going to get into it in just a moment here about the alpha particle. Okay, which is relative for the fastest observer here, and right off the hop, the very first step, he'll do it wrong.
So all that being said, let's go
and I'll show you how he does it wrong here.
Practice test. All right, this first question says, how many cars are needed to carpool 14 friends?
So what we know about the first law, second law, third law, AM X AN equals AM plus N.
Problem. So we're going to take 14 and divide it by 5.
See, which one do we want to do? Again, when we know that where D is the common difference from A, AN, or N, the first term, what I call it, what you call it, the number that it is, we might agree, but we have a difference of just trying to figure out this at the Wolfpack tonight. So let's look at this. What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, how many cars? So we need cars. Cars are the larger value inside of here. When you look at 1 over 2, right, that's 0.5. 1 over 5 would be 0.20. That would be under the inch at the right-hand rule for ones and zeros of this case. Now, orientation and position doesn't mean much to this very first question at the study guide level. Now, again, he'll do very well. Now, I don't know if it's exactly the route that I'm going to go while I'm picking this apart, trying to determine how to logically lay this through A1, AN, N, and D that most commonly comes up through this first law, second law, third law of figuring out the force integral of A over X equal comparatively to X over F in parentheses X. So those mean a lot of things, right? But let's talk about first things first. We need cars. Cars were the bigger number. Bigger number in here is not going to divide quite so well until you get to a very small fraction of what this is, because 14 would correlate to a very different number, right? So when we add that up, it would be 5 over 14, right? In terms of what that fraction would look like, 1. Now all the other approximations inside here is going to get you the base foundation, especially from this older foundation, right? You know, you got to be able to reset this. We got to have a common set of what X is, what N is, what F is, in terms of this temperature differential, of describing not only that question, but resetting this foundation, even if it was the job you were doing, growing corn or tear down blindfolded the AR.
So the first thing I'm asking myself.
So again here, we need people over cars, or excuse me, cars over people. So that's a smaller number. There's 5 of them over 14. You make that divisible, it's going to be 2.8, so not quite 3, because 5, 10, 15 is going to be the set. Real simple, just something that gives you the base number, first term, second terms, the number for it. And does anybody not get that?
As well as some 0 placeholders after.